the government narrowly avoided a shutdown. They did what they often do, where they just pass a stopgap bill to help them limp by for another few days. That in this case, it was 2 days to get them through the weekend while they continued to deliberate over the new COVID stimulus bill. The new stimulus bill, other people have covered this, but since we're on the topic, I wanted to at least kind of go over the same points that I think are really important for everyone to know. David Sirota at the Daily Poster had a really great article about this. So while they debate over whether we should have any direct payments to people, or if we have any, whether it should be 600 or 700 or 1200, and whether you should be eligible for direct payments if you're also getting unemployment and all this other stuff. I think what's really important about this bill is the giant corporate legal handout that they're trying to push through with it, and it's pretty alarming what they're trying to shove down our throats. Do you want to take that first bullet point, Zach?
I got lost.
Oh, okay. So,
but yeah, sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
That one.
Yeah.
So the one part of this new legislation is it would shield companies from all coronavirus-related actions retroactively for at least 1 year or until the pandemic is over, except in cases of, quote, gross negligence.
The next thing that they're trying to do is they're trying to restrict the enforcement of longstanding laws such as the Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938, the Occupational Safety and Health Act of 1970, so that's OSHA, and the Civil Rights Act of 1964, when companies say they're attempting to comply with government's coronavirus guidelines or guidance. So what that basically means, if they do anything that is in violation of any of those acts, but they say that they had to do that in order to fulfill the government's own coronavirus guidelines, they wouldn't be liable under those laws. Do you want to take the next one, Zach?
Yeah, sorry. Empower U.S. AG
Attorney General.
Yep. To deem coronavirus-related lawsuits from workers, customers, and attorneys meritless, and then file civil actions against them as retribution with fines up to $50,000 to vindicate the public interest.
So what they're really trying to do is to punish anyone who actually tries to hold any corporation acting in bad faith during the pandemic. They're trying to, they're really trying to intimidate people from even bringing any lawsuits forward. The next thing they're trying to do is shield healthcare executives from lawsuits. And per the Daily Poster, this was copied word for word from a statute passed in New York by Governor Cuomo amid COVID deaths in that state's nursing homes. So this is the most important part of the bill, I would say. This is the thing that is getting the least amount of discussion in the mainstream media. When I've been looking through articles trying to find out where things stand with the direct payments, basically you see like a line or two about this where they say, they passed some legal protections for corporations during the pandemic. That's basically the extent that I've seen most mainstream articles talking about this. But as far as I can see, I think that this is the most important thing going on. And Michael Duff, a former National Labor Relations Board official who is now a professor at the University of Wyoming College of Law, he said, "We are wiping out the laws of negligence. As a practical matter, we are substantially immunizing businesses from risky conduct. What they want to do in this bill is throw every lawsuit out before it conceivably gets to a jury. It means that a judge has the authority to dismiss a case right up front, because there's no way that plaintiffs are going to be able to meet this standard, gross negligence." So they already handed out trillions of dollars to Wall Street and the largest corporations in the country with the CARES Act. And now with this new round of quote unquote stimulus, what they're doing is insulating those companies from any responsibility, regardless of their behavior during the pandemic.
Yeah, and it looks like that's for 1 year. So they're basically sort of suspending any sort of negligence um, that companies have to follow government guidelines
Yeah.
for up to a year after the pandemic is over, is what it looks like. Um, okay, I'm not sure I have
And
too many thoughts on that, but it is it is interesting that yeah.
it's terrible too that they very publicly and predictably argue all day about these direct payments, but as far as I've seen, it doesn't appear that the Democrats are really putting up much of a fight over any of this.
I think you'll see as we go through some of the notes I have with the timeline is that there's a lot in this timeline that just simply is not covered by mainstream media, and the fact that like you you have to dig to be able to find the details behind these proposed bills. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not that hard if you know where to look, right? But it should be covered. It should be plastered everywhere. Like, hey, here's the new bill proposed. CNN, bold letters on their uh, shows, right? It should be telling you exactly like what's proposed. Here's who opposes it. Here's who's for it. Like it should be breaking down everything for you. That's just not good television, I guess, because they don't do it. So at least maybe not in the times that I watch or have watched. Um, but yeah, so the point is a lot of this stuff goes uncovered, and so people, common, everyday people who want to see like when's relief coming, what in what form is it coming in, give them some amount of hope. I mean, they just don't do any of it. I think they just stopped covering any sort of like, um, here's a bill that might be coming because I guess they realized that it's not coming, is what you know. So this next point is extremely important. I saw that. So the new stimulus quote also provides defense contractors, basically ensuring the salaries of defense contractors who cannot work due to COVID and whose work cannot be done remotely for up to 40 hours per week of lost wages. So you can't pay restaurant workers whatever their wages are, but you can pay defense contractors their 40 hours a week. Um, and that's incredible.
Which
So
is hilarious too, because they've actually done quite well during the pandemic.
defense contractors?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, um, I can't think of an example, but I'm sure their production is rolling. Uh, you know, there's still work because basically what they're saying is if like someone can't work due to COVID, their salary is guaranteed. Where there's millions of people who lost their job due to this, and we're protecting. Like, if you have money to do this and to bail out Wall Street and to bail out um, large corporations, you have money to give to people too. We've talked about this before. Largely, restaurant industry is what's hit hard by this, but
Yeah, and like gyms and stuff like that.
yeah, small
Um,
businesses in general. But
yeah, for
yeah,
sure. Um, the So, and then the most recent drama that's gone on with the new stimulus bill, it originally didn't have any direct cash payments in it. Everyone got pissed off. Senator Sanders and Senator Hawley made a big stink about it and started pushing hard, really pissing off their constituents from both parties, um, holding firm that we need to include $1,200 cash payments in the bill. And there was a sense of urgency because this is not just a stimulus bill. The stimulus is attached to a short-term funding for the government to avoid a shutdown. So Senator Sanders and Senator Hawley are trying to use some of the leverage they have because of that urgency to push this and get it approved and attached to the bill. Um, Initially, Senator McConnell was opposed to it, and now he's reconsidering. And this is so cynical. and sad. The reason that McConnell is reconsidering on the issue is apparently not because he's had some change of heart and realized how much the American people are suffering, but it's because he was worried that if the Republicans don't back some sort of direct payment, that they're going to lose the runoff elections in Georgia, and that'll hurt their majority in the Senate.
Yeah, and this kind of leeways into the issue all along, right? Why haven't we been getting so? Let's back it up to like the CARES Act.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, one thing just to finish that thought. So basically, the news that happened today when Congress came together, Hawley pushed for a vote on this issue for the direct payments, and it was blocked by Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin. And I just wanted to show everybody what Ron Johnson's estimated net worth is, according to Open Secrets. He is literally one of the richest people in Congress, with an estimated net worth of $37 million.
You can pay for some people's mortgages. Sure.
Yeah, and he complained about how irresponsible our deficit spending is, and how the phrase that he used is that we're mortgaging our children's futures. He didn't have a problem with that when he voted for the first CARES Act, which directly gave $500 billion to this slush fund, and that knowing full well that the intention was for that $500 billion to be leveraged 10 times over by the Federal Reserve for toxic asset purchases on Wall Street.
His investments are very evenly spread, so good for him, I guess.
I don't understand because if you add all those up, it's not 36 million. So I don't understand how they're breaking everything out here.
Yeah, I don't think that's the point. But yeah, I agree with you. I'm a little confused with that as well. But it is key to note that this man doesn't care at all about peons, as he would call them, I'm sure. As most people in Congress would call common people. Unfortunately, that's how they think of you. You're lesser to them. They don't care about you.